Hello, welcome to this episode of the Mayhem Lab. In today's episode, Kevin wants to show me his stylophone that he's been making. All right, so in the new era that we live in, we have to be socially distant and 6 feet apart. As you can see, Kevin's with me, but he's not actually with me. He is at his house. I am at mine, so therefore we are definitely more than 6 feet apart. Today, Kevin's been working on a stylophone project, and today he wanted to show me a little bit about what he's been doing.
Yep.
What are you doing, Kevin?
Hey, before we get started, I had an idea for a new segment.
Oh, okay.
Because we buy so much crap off of AliExpress, let me show you what I bought off AliExpress today.
Or what came in the mail today that you bought off AliExpress a month ago?
Yep. So nice. I got this pretty cool Raspberry Pi touchscreen display for like $15.
Nice.
I haven't had a chance to play with it yet because I just got my new Raspberry Pi 4. But yeah, it's pretty slick. It fits right on. Oh, I'm doing it off camera. It fits right on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with that.
Now, didn't the Raspberry Pi 4s have some kind of problem?
Something with the power. They switched the power to the USB-C.
Yeah.
And I think it's hard to get a USB-C adapter, or a lot of the cheap USB-C adapters don't put out the right power.
Oh,
I don't know what the problem was.
So
you need to make sure you get one that puts out enough amperage or something.
Okay, so it's a higher amperage. Gotcha.
That's it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I just remember reading about that. I didn't look much into it. I've got the 3B and the 3B Plus, so I'm not really in the market for another Raspberry Pi right now. But cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see. What are your plans with the touchscreen? Why'd you get it?
So what I actually wanted to build. So when we're doing forensic cases at like restaurants, a lot of times it's like, boy, wouldn't it be nice to plug in over there by by their firewall and just collect all the traffic leaving this network while I'm going around imaging systems. And so I was actually looking at taking this, plugging like a 128 gig USB drive into it, and then plugging the network port. How was I going to do that? So I've got a switch, a cheap like $30 Amazon switch, but it's still a managed switch. It's like a 5-port managed switch, so I can set one of the ports to be what do you call it, where it duplicates the other
spanning
ports. Yeah, so I can set one of the ports to be a spanning port, plug that onto here, and my thought on this was kind of like the old mini poners that we were building, kind of like this, to have it basically auto boot. So once it boots, it looks for a connection on the Ethernet, and if it finds a connection, just start dumping data to the USB drive until it runs out of space.
Gotcha.
And the screen I thought would be nice to show, okay, booted, saving data, 20% full, 30% full. So, when we're doing those forensic things, it's like you just want to get in and out and not interrupt them. So to just kind of walk back in the back, put that switch in line, and then just watch the screen to make sure you're not running out of space. Like, I thought that'd be a cool way to do it.
Yeah, we've got, I know you said you've got an Amazon switch to do that, but we also have those taps. I don't know if you've played with those.
I've looked at them. They're like passive, right? They're not powered. They're just kind of.
No, I'm pretty sure they're powered.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that too.
Yeah, it's not the throwing star tap. We've got one of those as well, but we've got like a nicer little black box. I don't know, it's a couple inches or something.
Yeah, and I got the Pi 4 just to make sure it's got enough performance, because the switch I got is gig Ethernet. I wanted to make sure, it had enough. I wanted to make sure if I was going to tap into someone's internet, I wasn't slowing it down, so I wanted to be gig like all the way.
No, that's fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah, chances are they're not going to have a gig pipe at a restaurant.
Right, that's true.
So that's overkill, right? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, it's going to work for today and tomorrow. Yep. So
that's today's. What did I get in the mail from AliExpress? You can do it next time.
I will.
I'm sure you've got some.
I do. I haven't gotten them yet, but I am waiting for some toys. Yes, so we'll definitely. Hopefully, they'll be here by next time.
Do the unboxing.
We'll do the
right.
Yeah. All right, so show us your musical instrument that you're creating.
So yeah, the Stylophone. So yeah, if you can pull up the link to like the picture of like the old Stylophone I sent you,
Sure. Give me
you
just
can
a
see the style of it is kind of like a '80s toy. Basically, was what it was.
uh, just a second here. I'm just gonna get all these links opened up real quick. Just like everything else in the world, brand new format. Gotta learn how to do stuff again that we've done so many times before. All right, so there we go. There, so we got the little black and white picture, or it's a picture of a black and white stylophone.
So I thought it was kind of a pretty neat looking toy, kind of handheld, and kind of you can see that that's clearly just a printed circuit board that you're touching with a stylus. So I thought that'd be a cool thing to build. Um, and this was before I found these STM32s, the chips we'll talk about in a minute. So I was trying to do it with an Arduino,
Okay.
and there's like 25 keys, I think, and it's hard to find an Arduino with more than 25 pins. So you start to get into like tricky ways to try and have multiple keys on one pin. So I was going down that path for a while.
Gotcha.
But then I found the STM32 and I started making one design with that. And then I saw somebody else basically did that. If you go to the Stylophone Hackaday link I sent you.
So that's the, just to be clear, so that's the blue pill that we were playing with for
the STM32
our CypherCon.
I can't believe I don't have one right in front of me here.
I think I have one in a box.
Yeah, I've got so many of them. But yeah, like the STM32 Blue Pill.
But we've showed it off in another video when we were talking about the CypherCon badge, so I can link that in the description if people want to check it out.
Yep. But yeah, I've got that Hackaday link with someone built like a grinning keyboard. I don't know if this is a belt buckle or what it is, but very similar idea. He's got some LEDs on it. He's got some extra buttons for extra functions. But I think he was using the STM32 under the hood on this as well. So kind of somebody, as I was working on it, I found somebody also pretty much doing the same thing. Maybe we'll be able to use his code if he's got it kind of tightened up and polished. Otherwise, it's not going to be that difficult to kind of build the code for this either.
Yeah, I like the grinny smiley face. I think definitely we could take that and play with it a little bit more. Maybe give it two eyes or give it more of a face. You could probably have some fun with that.
Yeah. So that was some of the inspiration. And so what I've ended up building was this Proto Board, or prototype, I should say. I'm trying to get a good spot where you can see it without too much glare. But yeah, it's got the PCB on the bottom, this place for the STM32 on the top. And it's really meant for like some prototyping. So it's got like extra holes and extra connections for trying a few different things. But it's pretty simple. So for the STM32, for the sound, I wanted to use the Mozy library.
Okay.
So if you pull up that first Mozy link I sent you, and then you'll have to find STM32 on that page.
The Mozy link. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I can't copy and paste. That's my problem.
So Mozy's a library for Arduino and Arduino-like things to make interesting sounds, I'll call it. It's basically lets you synthesize tons of different types of sounds. So I thought that'd be cool to have like the ability on this to like, have it be different kind of tones and all that kind of stuff. That's what I was kind of trying to do it around the Mozy library.
Okay.
So yeah, if you search for STM32 on that page, let me know when you find that.
Oops. Yep, got it.
Okay. So yeah, it says STM32 Arduino. And kind of the key thing there is the second bullet down. The audio output is to pin PB8.
Yep.
So you'll see I've got one of these connections on the board on the traces goes to PB8. And then they've got this thing about a hi-fi mode. So Mozy has a hi-fi mode where with a couple extra components, it actually uses 2 pins for output and combines that sound together to give you more. Basically, it's giving digital output and doing funny things with the digital output to try and make it seem more curvy, but with the hi-fi mode, it's even curvier, more analog seeming. So I wanted to be able to kind of try out both modes, the lo-fi and the hi-fi. So that's why you'll see kind of hi-fi, PB8, PB9 are all broken out on the board.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at the sketch that you sent me. I've got the front side of the sketch pulled up right now.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
The pins aren't labeled, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't have those labels on the front, huh? That's weird.
Let's see them. I don't see them on the back.
Maybe I just didn't have the. Well,
that's right.
Not the end. Yeah. Yeah, just hi-fi, PB8, and PB9 are the places you might connect. So you can connect a speaker directly to, I believe it's PB8. Yeah, you could basically you connect a speaker to PB8 and ground, and it'll just play sound on that. If you configure it just for a speaker on PB8. The challenge is the STM32 is a 3-volt part.
Okay.
And so it's really tough to drive loud sounds on 3 volts.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And even, I even went through like on some solderless breadboard, like prototyping, like using a transistor as an amplifier and using little speakers, and I never really got it really loud. So part of what I did on here is you'll see that there's a place to put a headphone jack port where it says tip and ring.
Yeah.
Because I thought at least for prototyping it'd be nice to output it to like a MP3 speaker or something like that, or like most Bluetooth speakers allow you to plug in like an audio cable as well. So yeah, the challenge I don't have is how to make a loudspeaker on a board that runs off of like 3 AAA batteries.
Sure.
I haven't found the circuit for doing that yet, or if I'm just buying the wrong speakers maybe. So it'll make neat sounds at this point, but it won't be very loud unless you hook it to a separate speaker thing.
Sure.
But yeah, basically the minimum setup for this should be soldering in the STM32 or headers for it, and then you can read in the Mozy library whether you want to connect to PB8 or whether you want to try the hi-fi, whether you want to put just a speaker on there or connect it to a external powered speaker type thing.
Gotcha. So between the PB8 and the PB9, what are those, resistors?
Those are just I would call them test points.
Okay.
So like I said, this is a that's what I wanted to show you. Yeah, so if you go to you're on the Mozy page now, or go back to the Mozy web page and search for hi-fi.
Okay. For more about audio output.
Oh, it talks about it over and over again. There's a place on here where it actually has the picture of the hi-fi.
I don't think I can search for a picture.
No. Oh, it's a let me text you the other link. I gave you the wrong link. Sorry.
That's all right. Let's see. All right. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so if you pull up that page and scroll halfway down, there's a picture of 2 resistors and a capacitor for the hi-fi mode.
Right. Oh, that's
so, yeah,
9 and 10. Okay.
Well, it's 9 and 10 on Arduino. It's 8 and 9 on the STM32.
Okay, but you put a resistor between whichever one or both of them you're using?
Yeah, basically the 2 resistors and the capacitor that you'll see on the board right here is this exact circuit for Mozy.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's how I kind of educated guess that was 8 and 9 because I saw they were connected to some diagram that looked like a resistor would be my guess. But
yep. Yeah. So you don't need to do that. Like I said, with no resistor, you can just connect your speaker to PV8 and ground, and that'll be lo-fi. But if you want to go hi-fi, you add these components and use the hi-fi pin instead.
Okay.
And PV9 is just there for testing. It doesn't actually do anything like by itself. I just broke it out as a test point just because.
Gotcha. Yeah, it looks like most of the pins are broken out except for very few. 6, 7?
Most are used,
7?
yeah.
Yeah, so you're only, wow. So yeah, you're really using the heck out of this Blue Pill. This is good.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think an Arduino would cut.
Crap, I made a lot of mistakes with those through holes though. Because you and I were talking about how over here, I don't know how well you can see, over here, these through holes end up transiting these traces.
Yep.
I see that I did the same thing over here with these resistors and stuff too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, sure enough, you did. I think I started
working on it. I added that, and then I was working on it, and then I got distracted and left it for 2 months, and then I was placing an order at PCBway, and I thought, oh well, what else can I order for an extra $5? And I threw these on. So the board wasn't actually done and checked. I just kind of threw it on there because I was in a hurry.
So then, no, I think this is a great thing to point out. So this is also obviously why we always prototype everything. And as Kevin was just saying, we can order stuff off of PCBway for, was it $5? You get 10 items.
Yeah, it's something like that. $5 for 5 or $5 for 10. As long as, especially if you're ordering something else and you've already paid the shipping.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, it's obviously dependent on shipping, but if you get 3 things for $5, that's $15, and then another $15-20 for shipping. You can distribute that shipping cost. But yeah, so no, this is a good point. So we've got the test points over here, like Kevin was just saying, and we see these orange lines traversing these 2 through holes. Which obviously are not going to work because those are supposed to be connected to different pins up here. So yeah, definitely this is why we want to check our boards and make sure that we go through all this stuff, because yeah, they will literally just print whatever it is you send them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's their jig. I mean,
yeah. So I think to use these, what we're going to need to do is I would go on the back and I would cut the traces that go into those holes, and we can, those traces are pretty easy to follow, so we could just set a jumper from the via here to the right pin here, after we cut the traces here that are touching those holes, if that makes sense.
It does.
I don't know if I was on the camera when I was pointing that stuff out. Yeah.
I got you now. Go ahead and point it back out.
Okay. Yeah. So if we cut the traces here on the back that cross those holes and just connect from the via to the appropriate pin up here, that's going to be probably the easiest way to do that. Now it's really important, there's traces going between these pins that we'll have to cut too, because this side of this is ground and this side of this is 3-volt, 5-volt battery, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna cut a lot of traces there, and kind of the same thing over here. I think we'll end up cutting whatever traces cross the holes here and jumpers.
Sure. Yeah, and we get 1 or 2 boards made. Obviously, that's
just to see if it works.
Just to see if it works. Yeah, make sure that the Blue Pill is gonna function adequately.
Yep.
Nice. I'm excited.
So that's I might try and work on that if I get some downtime here at home next weekend. But yeah, if you wanna give it a try and build one, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you get me that parts list. But yeah, I certainly can start cutting all the traces and see if that'll actually function. So cool. Well, thanks for showing that off, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Look forward to doing it. So hopefully in a future episode, we're going to have those finished, or at least have a prototype finished. We'll cut all the traces and solder them up, and kind of show you that troubleshooting step, and then we'll build one, and hopefully you guys can hear it and see what you think.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Kevin, what you doing?
Clicking.
We're supposed to be making videos, you know that?
Clicking. It's so satisfying. Do you hear that clicking?
I mean, it's fun. But don't you want to make more videos?
No, I want to click.
Okay.
You know what? People could click like.
They could. And then subscribe.
And subscribe and comment on the videos.
Yes.
Do that while I click.
Click.